First of all, congratulations to all of you for deciding to prepare for civil services. I just want to ask, who all are giving the mains this year, or preparing to give the prelims this year? You. And the rest going for 2016. Great. So, before I start, I'd like to remind you just two things that you need to. Okay. So, there are two things that you should always remember. First is Swami Vivekananda, arise, awake and stop not till the goal is reached. And second, Gita 2.47, Karmanyavadika raste ma phaleshu kadachana. Means that you should only focus on your task and the end result is going to come by what you do as a part of that task. If you keep focusing on the end result, a lot of emotions start coming up and it actually sucks up your energy, which you should be actually putting on. You should actually be putting on your effort towards the civil service paper. So I would like to touch only 2 or 3 more important things before I ask you some of the doubts. First thing, an online query which has come up was electrical engineering optional. How many of you have a technical optional? Cool. So for the technical optional stuff, I'll just say a few things that more or less the papers are going to be repeated year on year. So always remember that you should do all the at least for the last 10 years, do all the papers, do all the questions and see which are, because you have to select I think 5 out of 8 questions. So which of those questions you are going to select, that is a key criteria. And second thing, there are very good strategies available, as in huge number of books are there. For technicals, I think you need to study 20 or 30 books as per normal guidelines, but my way of thinking is that you don't really need to do all those 20 to 30 books. Go for this way that do the papers, whatever question comes, look at the topic on which that question is being asked from. Study that topic. Because one thing about UPSC is, and this thing would be more general, for all the optionals, I guess, UPSC is not going to go very much in deep in that optional. बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चंस पूछते हैं, उस टॉपिक का बेसिक इंट्रोडक्शन आपको पता होना चाहिए, एंड मोर और लेस दैट इज योर आंसर फॉर द ऑप्शनल. And so that is the only thing that I would like to say about my electrical engineering optional thing. Now there are a few things that I'd like to touch upon for the preparation part. Like for the prelims जो इस साल दे रहे हैं, I think like 25 days are left, or 23 days are left. 20 days are left in fact. So for the next 20 days, go for mock tests. I started my mock tests on like July 27. Last year the paper was on 24 August, and I gave like about 30-35 mock tests here and there. And my marks actually increased. Initially I was scoring like in both CSAT plus this thing combined, I scored once 198, 210 something initially. But towards the end it actually improved, and when I gave my final prelims, my speculated score was 260. So I was pretty much sure that yes, I'm going to make it through. So I would strongly suggest you give your paper such that once you're out of the prelims, you should know that you're making it through. 50% is my expected cutoff, which is a safe approach. 100 for this year maybe, 110 whatever she said. So for me 100 would be a good enough score. Go for as much mock tests as possible in the next 20-25 days. For those who are going for the prelims next year, I would say make a strategy of the topics, I mean the entire paper next year. Make a strategy of the topics that you are good at, some topics you will be weak at, right? So do those accordingly. Try to finish things by deadlines. Like today is August 3. So August 3 से August 31 तक I have to do this. August 31 से September 1 से September 30 तक I have to do this. So this way if you make a monthly deadline, I used to make a daily deadline towards the end. So those who are doing it for 2015, I used to make a daily deadline from like August 1 को ये करना है, 2 को ये करना है, till I made it till December 2. I remember because last 10 days I just went for paper. So abhi se go for monthly deadlines, and towards the end try to go for daily deadlines. May or may not achieve them, but you need to have this thing in the back of your head that this is the topic you are going to do today, and आगे वो छूटेगा. तो अभी अगर तुम लोग कर लोगे, so you do some topic right now, and suppose it's you are able to finish only 50% of it, ठीक है? So your one cycle of preparation will supposedly get over by December. So in the next cycle you will cover the rest 50% also. But if you think कि भाई एक ही बार में मैं सब कर लूँगा and नहीं होगा. You need to be constantly in touch with all the 4 papers, optional, essay, everything. You need to be constantly in touch with them. Because मैंने देखा है मेरे दोस्तों के साथ ही, they were like really good in optional. Towards the end उन्होंने सोचा कि ठीक है यार optional तो हो गया, we'll put it aside. They went for the GS parts. Eventually optional ठुक गया थोड़ा बहुत. You don't want that to happen, right? Second thing that I would like to say, so that is about prelims that I'd like to say. For the mains part, I'd like to say that in the changed nature of the paper, first addressing 2015 people, I hope you would really go for answer writing like on August 24. You may have left some topics before August 23 for the mains. Forget them abhi. August 24 के बाद से go for answer writing at least for a month or two, month and a half. So by October 15 something, you would have some very concrete topics, and you would have known exactly what are your points of weaknesses, what are your topics of weaknesses, right? So those topics you can do for the next like 10, 15, 20 days, like November 1, November 5 tak. And then November month you should write as many papers as you can. I finished like 30 papers in November itself. I mean, you have to do, 30 GS papers. Optional paper I used to do 1 paper daily. So that is something that you should keep in mind. Always keep doing this part of it. And one thing I am really not noticing is what Bhavesh actually said. You need to smile. And I don't see many smiles around here. So just be happy whatever it is. So answer writing is the key. Essay के लिए he actually told you किस तरह से दिखाना है, how you need to get it checked and all that stuff. The only thing that I used to do personally was that we had a group of 4 or 5, suppose you have, or 2 or 3 people, write an essay, get it checked by that person gets it checked by you on a daily or like weekly basis. Test series में तो तुम लिखते ही हो, but like test series में you will have only 3 or 4 essays that you will be writing over a period of 3 or 4 months. But write an essay every week and get it checked by your peers. And one thing I have also noticed is that when you are getting it checked, suppose the person in front of you is saying that, यार इसमें ये गलती है, and you tell him that कि नहीं मैंने इसको इस वजह से लिखा था. Don't do that. Just listen to the things that he is saying. It is important to know your weaknesses. Everyone can clap and do those things, but it's those people who will tell you your weaknesses who will actually make you improve those things, right? So that is the thing about 2015. For 2016, I would like to actually go with what Ananya said, I guess, that mains and prelims part are more or less common. Leave apart 1 or 2 topics here and there. Most of the things are common. So ensure that whatever you're doing, you're also writing it in a topic-wise manner. Because you're not only going to eliminate options, in the end you'll also have to write your answers, you'll have to frame your own opinions based on those topics and whatever the question comes in the mains. So that is the thing that you should keep following. जैसे if you're keeping a schedule for, say आज तुम्हें करना है, say पंचायती राज, suppose something comes up. So you should have, or say Narega, let's go for Narega. So Narega में you'll find कि a lot of reports are there, a lot of newspaper articles keep coming. So make those sheets, अभी बहुत अच्छा टाइम है, make a sheet कि ठीक है नरेगा का ये है, and keep updating those. Try to have as much topics, basic topics covered by the time your first iteration of syllabus is done. So my suggested timeline would be December 31. So that is the general introduction that I would like to say. The second thing and the more important specific things that I'd like to mention here is, first, use of technology. things are changing. Use technology as much as you can. I used to read things on my mobile, the Hindu and Indian Express e-paper. These are the apps that I downloaded on my mobile, and I used to read them when I was traveling by the metro and wherever. I used to read my papers daily or something. And sometimes you don't sleep in the night. Hindu editorials get updated around 1:30 in the morning. So I used to read them at like 2 in the morning. Indian Express e-paper actually comes by around 5 a.m. in the morning. So you can read it then and there, sometimes even before going to sleep, sometimes just after getting up from sleep. So use that time of traveling and all those stuff with the use of technology. There is another app that I really want you to go for is Constitution of India. As they said that go for original sources. Constitution of India will give you the bare bones constitution without all those explanations given by Lakshminath or D.D. Basu. These are not required. You should know what is written in that article. Like say Article 1 says that India, that is Bharat, is a union of states. That is it. उस पर एक छोटी सी अभी केस भी हुआ था छोटा सा. So those who might know about it can understand कि India, that is Bharat का क्या मतलब है and उसके क्या implications है. But if you go for Lakshmikant will never explain it that way. That's why go for this Constitution of India app, or read the basic constitution, what is written exactly. Sorry? I even suggest don't go for PM Bakshi also. Go for this app, because PM Bakshi is also trying to give you some kind of explanations. It's like I'm asking you to go back and read those constitution, only 5-6 words whichever are written in those articles. I've never read PM Bakshi, by the way. So if PM Bakshi gives you only those things, then it's fine. But my understanding is it tries to give some explanation. Okay. So my way is that, okay, save money. Don't put so much books in your stacks, right? Try to put as much in your tab and get over. Yeah. Use a tablet for starting. Either use a tablet or a smartphone. And I really like you to go for tablet, because the good thing about tablet is cut off the calling facilities things. Don't go on WhatsApp and all that stuff, and just download the things. Go on Wi-Fi or something. Just download those things, and just don't be active on social networking sites. What happens with your smartphones is that you tend to use a lot more of WhatsApp and all those things. WhatsApp is also quite useful, I'll tell you in some time. So this is the third app, Constitution of India. So first two I told Hindu, second I told Indian Express e-paper, third is Constitution of India. And fourth I'd like to say, I forgot my phone is there. Fourth is MEA India is an app. MEA is Ministry of External Affairs. I'm sorry. MEA India, Ministry of External Affairs. That app you should download. In that app, there's a section called Public Diplomacy. Within that Public Diplomacy, there's something called as Distinguished Lecture Series. Now, you should read those lectures, like one lecture after you take your lunch or when you're walking after dinner. These are ambassadors who are giving lectures in some good university or something, and they'll give you the actual perspective of what is the theory and also what is the practice. Don't write academic kind answers in the paper. Always also give your suggestions, and like this is the problem, this is not the problem. Like, okay, I'll tell you about like Indo-Nepal example came up. A lot of people don't even know what are the problems which are coming up in 1950 Treaty of Indo-Nepal Friendship. So this thing, okay, is for the next part. There are two shows which are coming up, which come on the RSTV, Rajya Sabha TV. The Big Picture, that's a debate show, and India's World. And only on India's World, I found the answer to this question, the Indo-Nepal Treaty thing. Every other debate is like a particular person shouting and the other people not able to say their own opinions. RSTV will actually be a very logical debate. People are allowed to speak, and people speak their minds, and people speak their minds frankly. They don't expect people to view their channel maybe, so they actually speak out whatever they want. So sometimes the same political party leaders will criticize their own political parties itself. In fact, there are 2 or 3 back shows I also recommend. Like in Big Picture, there was a debate on corruption. So there was a leader from Congress itself. He gave very good points on corruption. one of the biggest problems with corruption and all the corruption bills में अगर कभी भी a question is asked कि corruption की जब bill आया है PC Act में amendment वगैरह जो भी कर रहे हैं, what are the basic problems with it? The problems is, the biggest problem is always going to be that we are still targeting the black money. We are not targeting the source of generation, right? So those things you will come to know when you are reading, watching those debates. So those debates are quite important. So I have covered MEA India, Constitution of India, Hindu, Indian Express, RSTV में, Big Picture and India's World. All this will take around like 2 or 3 hours per day, but this covers more or less everything, right? And this is the thing about the use of technology that I wanted to say, that use technology as much as you can. Now the next thing I'd like to touch upon is that answer writing thing. How should you write answers apart from the very fact, and how would you use technology in answer writing? Yeah, this is where WhatsApp actually comes in. What I was doing for this year, I mean, there is a possibility that I was not selected on July 4, so I had to give an attempt this year. So I had a group of like 4 or 5 people, so we made a WhatsApp group. Each of us used to make a question, 1 question per day. Just try to make 1 question per day. And thank you. So each of you, like if there are 4 people in the group, each of you post 1 question per day. You can make your own questions. I mean, there are sites, Insights on India and all those things, but I suggest you make your own questions because they'll be more relevant. Make your own questions, make your questions the way UPSC asks those questions. We used to make very good questions and put it on the group, and everyone writes the answers and uploads it on that group. So make it a very limited group. 3 or 4 people is more than sufficient. Otherwise, चीज़ें हो नहीं पाती हैं. So that is where you should use WhatsApp as much as you can. Otherwise, don't use WhatsApp for all those social networking things कि लोगों से hi, hello कैसा है. It's okay. You don't need to do that. You can do that after the next year or after your next to next year. So that is how you can use WhatsApp quite well. FB I have not been able to find a very good use till now. So I actually deactivated it till July 4. There are some communities which are there, but I don't really suggest them. They are really a waste of time. So don't go for FB. Try to skip it, okay? And use Skype if you are I don't know, if you have a doubt with somebody, you can just ask them, can you come on Skype, rather than going all the way to meet that person. Commute as little as you can, and even if you have to commute, use those apps to use that time in that whatever limited domain you have. And yeah, that is more or less about it. Did I miss something? Interview part, yeah. So for the interview part, here I'd like to just mention that my board was DK Diwan board, and I'd like to really say that even that board is a quite good board as far as giving marks is concerned. My interview went for around 50 minutes, and I started horribly in that. In the sense that I went in, he asked me a question that name a few IFS officers who done an exemplary job for the country. Now you don't have to take names as it was told. So yeah, I said everyone's doing a great job, it's a collective unit. So he says, what am I asking and what are you saying? The worst comment for the first question, right? But then things picked up, and I said like, of all the questions, he must have asked me like 20, 25, 30 questions. I would have said like 5, 6 questions I said that I did not know. But the problem with most of the people is that they say, sir, I don't know. Try to avoid this word. Try to say, sir, right now I'm not able to recall or something, or right now I don't exactly know it. I mean, with that person, if you see his background, he's a very smart person who has not heard a no from his juniors. It's Navy, right? So that is something that you should remember. Try to use language that is not really a blunt thing in front of him. Be honest, because anyone would not expect you to be dishonest, at least with those people. But try to use good language. There was a question, I think, what kind of an English would you require in mains, and I don't know, it was an online question, right? So Here I like to say that there's nothing like you need very high quality English or very poor quality English. People with very, very good quality English actually suffer more maybe. I mean, my English was quite moderate, so that's why I was able to come out of it. There are people who are like really, really smart and it does not impact you. You may get really good score, you may not get very good score. What matters is that you should look honest in front of them. If it is seemingly that you are using your English to disguise your personality, it's going to be a negative thing for you. And so the next thing that I was doing in my interview was that whenever the questions are being asked, usually what is said is you should look all around and all that stuff. What you should rather focus on is whatever answer you are giving. You should have the eye contact with the person who is asking the question, but don't try too much about looking here and there. See, what that personality test is basically is that whether you are able to interact with a person, with a group of people, the way you would normally do in your life as a civil servant. So if suppose you are asking me a question, and if I was to like, without even acknowledging your question, I would start looking here and there, you won't like it. People are the same everywhere. If you can make somebody happy, you can make that person happy, right? So yes, this thing is about interview. By the time you reach the interview stage, you will know a lot of things. Yes, one thing I like to actually say about interviews is that those who are going for the interview for the first time, go for as many mock tests or mock interviews as you can. I mean, that's my personal opinion, but it really helped me. I went for like 5-6 mock interviews sometimes, but yes, it really helped me. And for the answer, so in crux, if I have to like summarize, answer writing and testing has been the crux of UPSC in the change pattern. For optionals, go for the last year papers. More or less optionals are going to be repeated, especially for the technical optionals which are static. Technical optionals are always going to be static, right? Or whatever optionals are going to remain static, go for those previous year papers. Means make a schedule, make a daily deadline, and try to follow those topics. For the use of technology, it is, I mean, I won't say it's a must, but it's like a booster for you. It really helped me and it was helping me this year. And towards the end, the interview, go with a completely calm mind, see whatever question is being asked and interact normally. Don't try to be, nervous or whatever. Every board gives the entire range of marks. No board is going to give you like only 150 or 160, no. Everyone's going to give you entire range of marks, 200, 100, everyone would give. Yeah, and one thing about answer writing, I'm so very sorry, but this is one thing I wanted to mention, that whenever you're writing answer, you should always try to write like a very small introduction, that is just the introduction of the question, and then your positives, 1, 2, 3, negatives, 1, 2, 3, and a conclusion. Now, in that conclusion, my biggest mistake was I sometimes used to make it rhetoric. Don't make it rhetoric. Always the conclusion should be that given the above facts, this step may be taken or this step may be recommended. Don't say things like, given the above, if these things are implemented, then India will progress like hell. No, it's not going to do that. Just be very factual, be very relevant, and be, like a civil servant. You don't have to give a speech to the public, you don't have to impress the public, right? And that is more or less about it. Is there any doubt that you have, specific doubt? In November, I used to write one paper. Before that, I used to do like 2 questions, pick up 2 questions and just attempt those questions. Okay, before November, it's like you have to also do the syllabus. So suppose I picked up a question and because my electrical engineering option was there, so a lot of topics were those which were not actually covered in my engineering as such, because electrical engineering is very vast and mine was like electronics in my graduation. So that topic, suppose it comes from some digital communication which you never read in your college. So before November, those 2 questions when you're doing, you read the net, you see whatever is there, a bit of theory, don't go too much into detail, but see whatever is there in that question and write a perfect answer, what that perfect answer would be, right? So suppose like amplifier is a very, very simple concept that everyone knows. But then there was a question which is being repeated like thrice in UPSC in the last 10 years, was that what is instrumentation amplifier? So it is nothing but you add a few stages in the amplifier. So those things you need to know, but you don't know it already. So when you're doing those questions, you'll come to know, right? So from August 24 till October 31, I suggest take up 2 questions from your optional and do them well. And do them well in the sense that if you yourselves are checking those questions, you should be able to give yourselves at least 70 to 80% score. I mean, usually you should be able to give 100% score, because technical mein it is possible to score at least 9 out of 10. I'm pretty sure they are giving that much score in technical optionals. And what was the other part you asked? That was the only thing, right? Yeah, I got 291. I'm sorry? See, in my personal opinion, when I came back and checked my paper, I guess I attempted around 390 marks quite well. So yeah, if you are getting like 291 out of the 390 quite well attempted, so you are knowing that they are at least giving you like 7 out of 10 तो बहुत easily possible है. And if they are giving that much score in your electrical engineering, they will give it in any other optional. Even in GS papers, always remember that they won't draw an upper line. अगर 12 marks का paper question है, तो you can get up to 9 marks, 10 marks. The thing is, we don't know all those facts. We don't have that much time to beautify the answer to that extent. Beautify does not mean underlining. Beautify means to write the points quite well, to touch all the dimensions, which is not possible in that limited time and space. But it is possible to score as high as you possibly can think in any question. So don't go with the constraint that you're not going to score more than 5 in this question or something. So yeah, I'll just pass on the mic.